Welcome back to Danger and Danielle's Tactical Breakdown. We're going to look back to last Saturday, the game that the Quakes had, suffering a 1-0 loss to Club Leon in a friendly. Welcome back, Landon Donovan. It was a fantastic night. What are your general thoughts and comments on the game to start us off?
Well, it was okay. It was an okay game for me. You're never going to get a friendly when it's Liga MX versus MLS. And I thought that maybe, I've got to say this, I thought maybe the refereeing crew treated it a little bit more like a friendly. Maybe the Landon thing made it feel a little bit more friendlier. But I thought they missed a few things, and it started to be a situation where the players started policing themselves out there, and it took a little bit of the gloss off the game, I thought, and the performance from both teams. I think the referees would have treated it better and gone for it as a real game in their minds. It would have been a better game all around.
Yeah, and that's important, right? I mean, the standard for the referees is certainly something regardless of whether it's a friendly or not.
But I do think it's had a point in this point of the season. It was an important game for Michael Starry and the Quakes to have an opportunity for him to see some of the players that haven't been getting regular minutes in the first couple of games and get some significant playing time.
Yeah, so let's talk about a few of those players. Let's start up front. Let's talk about Quincy Amarikwa. What were your thoughts on his play throughout the match?
Sort of a typical Quincy game.
Yeah.
I thought he did a lot of good stuff holding the ball up. I thought his defensive work was excellent. There's times when he was tracking back into the defensive area and winning the ball and holding on to the ball. Some nice skills around those areas. But at the end of the day, he's a centre forward, and he had one good chance off the Nick Lima cross early in the game. And as a striker, he tried to get the shot off quickly, but he didn't seem to be prepared for the shot as the ball come in. And I think that you've always got to be optimistic you're going to get the ball as a striker. After that, he didn't get a lot of chances. So from that perspective, he did okay, but Danny Houston's playing better at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. So let's talk about Jameer Hika, because I love watching him play. I think he brings an energy to the game. Is he starting ahead of Vaco? Probably not for me at this point, but I thought he had some good combination play. I liked the way he connected with the left back, Joel Queeberg, with Chris Wondolowski. I just think he brings something different, and I think it's sometimes just the fact that he runs at speed so often, attacking defenders, that's really tough to defend. So I like his energy, but I think because I like his energy, I like him as somebody coming off the bench going forward.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he really went at players a couple of times, and he definitely disrupts defenses doing that. He's got a lot of good qualities, and he will be used this season. Another player that came off the bench in a similar attacking mode, a lot of energy, is Tommy Thompson. He came in late in the second half, but I think that he got a chance towards the end of the game, that he got the shot off, and those are the type of opportunities that Tommy needs to take to break the starting lineup.
Yeah, and also too in the midfield, we've got Fatai Alashe. He played a big role last night. We didn't see him much last year because he had a lot of injuries that he was dealing with, but I think he's a key guy for the Earthquakes, especially given the fact that we've got international duty, the World Cup coming up this year, and that holding center mid alongside Flo is going to be really critical when Anibal Godoy leaves for the World Cup in preparations for Panama as well. So for me, I liked his ability to hold the ball. I think he played a little bit more in front of Flo. There was a couple times where he got caught a little bit in transition and in his possession, but overall I think we need to continue to see him grow and evolve, and I think he's somebody who needs to get minutes.
Yeah, I thought he did well. And his defensive positioning on set pieces against, crosses into the box, he got some important clearances in his role. He did okay,
Okay, so let's look at the back line because we want to talk a little bit about the backs in general. Let's start with Joel Queeberg and Francis Affolter. What was your assessment of those two players?
Affolter looked fit. I thought that his passing at the back was good. His positional play was good. He got caught one time on a sprint and he got the yellow card. He didn't look too quick on that one, and he got pulled for the yellow card on that one. But I thought he did okay. I would still like to see these centre-back pairings a little bit closer and also a little bit braver and closing the ball down at the top of the box. That's an area that's been a little bit of a problem for the Quakes in all the games so far, and you can see it later on Landon's goal as well. Joel Queeberg, he started off okay. I thought he got forward and got involved with good combinations with Hiko on the left. Looked like he was positive in that position. Good first touch at times. Positionally, he seems to be a little bit closer and knows that left back role quite well defensively. There was one point where he really played a nice offside and the line was good and he was close to Affolter on that particular play. Later on, I was a bit disappointed with him. I know the coach talked about the fact that he hadn't played much and maybe got a little bit tired. But, you know, when he's getting the ball in wide areas and he's got a chance to take people on one-on-one, we got to see it. The team needs more crosses in the box and not just from the right-hand side.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what makes Shea Salinas special right now is his fitness and his ability to continue to go over the course of 90 minutes. And I think that's, for me, probably why he's gotten the starting nod in the early moments of the season over Joel Quaebourg. But let's talk a little bit then about Shea, because we actually saw him on the right side.
Yeah.
He subbed in for Nick Lima. So let's talk about Nick Lima and Shea Salinas at that right back position. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What'd you think?
Well, first of all, let's talk about Nick Lima, because I thought in the first 45 minutes he was the best player on the park.
Yeah,
I mean, he was very, very good. He was getting forward. He got forward a couple of times early in the game, a great cross in for the opportunity for Quincy Amarikwa that skipped through a little bit on the turf, caught Quincy not expecting the ball to reach him. Nick also had a chance to take on plays. He took on two at one point and nearly got through. I thought he took the opportunity to work on his offensive side of the game and caused a lot of problems for what is obviously a good team in Liga MX. Defensively, he made 2 or 3 excellent plays, getting back defensively to make a good tackle on the end line. So I thought he was the Quakes' best performer in the first 45. Now, ironically, Shea came on second half and played on the right back position as well. And I thought he looked a lot more comfortable back there.
So is Shea a better right back than a left back?
I think he looks more comfortable back there on the right-hand side, and but he has played a lot on the left. You know, we can't pick the team, right? Yeah. We're just obviously, you know, given our analysis here, but you know, can Nick Lima maybe play left back and give a little bit more defensive stability there behind Vaco? And maybe that's something that can be looked at as well. So,
moment of the match, man of the match. Typically, we like to pick a Quakes goal or a Quakes player, but Landon Donovan used to be a Quakes player. So let's talk a little bit about the old guy who laced his boots back up and is down in Mexico making an impact. What's your assessment of the goal and his impact on the game?
Well, his impact on the game was that he had those moments that made the difference for Club Leon in the first half. The goal itself, we've talked about the aspect of that. Nick Lima gets the ball, gets caught in possession a little bit further up the field, but the reaction by Club Leon players to get 2, then 3 players around the ball and win it back in their half and then counter quickly, that's the kind of high press we keep talking about that the Quakes want to try and do. They did it very well. A little bit lucky that it flicked off of Nick and his chest area and it drops to Landon, but then it's just an instinct that the great players, and he is, and he still is, and he certainly was, have nice quick turn on the top of the box. It happens so quickly. Ideally, you want to see a bit more pressure from the centre backs of the Quakes to get there, maybe block that. Certainly, Andrew Tarbell a little flat-footed, you know, and I think that he's got to be expecting the shot from that area. But it was a great turn, a great strike by Landon.
For me, it was almost a Chris Wondolowski type goal, very opportunistic, and like you said, the great players, the great goal scorers, 2 of whom were on the field last Saturday in Landon Donovan and Chris Wondolowski. They go to where the ball is going to be, and they are ready to shoot at any moment. And I thought that's what stood out to me most. For the Earthquakes defensively, I continue to be a little bit concerned with that pocket right in front of the back line, behind Flo Youngworth, like that little midfield defensive pocket where we saw in Minnesota there was a couple goals that came out of that space. So to me, that's something I'm going to continue to watch for, but credit goes to Landon Donovan, credit goes to Leon for coming here to San Jose and taking on the Earthquakes. Any last thoughts?
Let's move on. New York City FC.
Yeah,
absolutely. Good team coming into town. New York City FC. Extremely well coached by Patrick Vieira. I think that he's become a coach that's getting a lot of notoriety. That's the word. Around the world now because of his connections with Arsenal and Manchester City FC. It's a good team. I think it's a team that if you look at them, it's probably the way that Michael Starry wants this team, this Quakes team, to play in the longer term. If you play low pressure against them, they will pass all day. They will build at the back. They're confident. They'll find players. They'll break you down that way. If you try and go high pressure, they're very, very good at counter-attacking. 2 great goals against New England Revolution this past weekend on the road. They've won 3, they've tied 1 at the first 4. It's a good team.
Yeah, and for me, though, where there's a little bit of opportunity for the Earthquakes is against NYCFC defensively. I had the chance to speak to Patrick Vieira a couple weeks ago, and he said that 2 areas that he's looking to focus is, 1, be more balanced defensively. We know that they can score. They've got guys like David Villa. They've got even brought in some new faces. This guy Shradi, who's been really dynamic.
Yeah, 3 goals in 2 games for Shradi without David Villa on the team.
Exactly. Yeah. So we know that they can score goals, but defensively, there are some question marks. And me, it's set pieces can be an opportunity for the Earthquakes, and the marking in the box isn't up to standard for me for NYCFC. So given the fact that you've got guys like Chris Wondolowski who can sniff around the back post, there seems to be an opportunity there for me. So good opportunity, good game coming up.
Yeah.
Next weekend, Saturday, March 31st, right here at Avaya Stadium. Join us. Join all of the crazy fans, join the Quakes down on the field for a fantastic game against NYCFC. Thanks for watching this Danger and Danielle's Tactical Breakdown.